Hey there, welcome to our humble abode we call Big Friday Sports. We're just a couple dudes wearing makeup giving you the latest in the world of sports.
Thanks, Madeline. That's right. We are live here in Ames at Jack Trice Stadium ahead of OU's, like you said, unusual Thursday night game, Reagan. The big storyline tonight, no Joe Mixon. In what started in one of the most unlikely events, Baker Mayfield went from Lake Travis High School to Texas Tech as a walk-on, transferred to Oklahoma as another walk-on, Reagan, and finally today was named the 6th Heisman Trophy in OU history. Guys, we are live in windy Manhattan, Reagan, the Little Apple, although right now it feels like the Windy City. In a stadium built for a star, many shine today for Oklahoma as they routed TCU 41-17. Reagan, OU claims their 11th Big 12 championship. Thanks, guys. We just landed in the Big Apple, New York City, the city that never sleeps, ahead of tomorrow's Heisman Trophy ceremony. Reagan, Baker Mayfield has a shot to join OU history as the 6th Oklahoma player to win the Heisman.
Holden Cruzmark is standing by live in left field with more on the Sooners. Holden, watch out for those pop flies, man.
The big storyline on Tuesday was the tall fescue rough. After some ridicule from players and the amount of rain received in the area over the last 24 hours, the USGA made the call and decided to cut it back on 4 different holes.
A day after pumping out 30 reps on the bench press at the NFL Combine, which is roughly about how many I probably would have gotten if I had been invited, former Sooner star Samaje Perine cranked out a 4.6 640 time today in Indy.
Dalkey began the day bright and early with an 8:46 tee time for a 9-hole practice round. From there, he headed over to the practice areas to putt, chip, and hit balls. On the putting green, he was chatting it up a bit with former world number 1 and 2015 PGA champion Jason Day. In recent history, Oklahoma has been outstanding after a loss. They have not lost back-to-back regular season games since October 2nd and October 9th, 1999. That was Bob Stoops' first year as a head coach. Oklahoma has also won 36 consecutive regular season games after a loss, so that's big time for Oklahoma. In the comfort of their own backyard, the D-backs are trying to work off a 69 and 93 season from last year. There is plenty of talent for them in the clubhouse, but the problem is it's also abundant elsewhere in the division.
Now to golf. OU's Brad Dalkey shot a second-round 75 today at Augusta National for a 2-day total of 153, 9 over par. In uncharacteristic windy conditions, he won't play the weekend, which is too bad because it's shaping up to be quite a good one.
Before the injury, Story was on pace to shatter a handful of rookie records. His 27 home runs in just 97 games was 3 shy of Nomar Garciaparra's record with the Boston Red Sox in 1997. Skipper Bud Black says that he knows that it'll be tough for Story to get back to where he was last year, but has liked what he's seen from him so far this spring. Well, it wasn't the shootout that we saw last year in Lubbock, although we certainly thought it was going to be that way after the first couple of drives. Reagan, OU and Texas Tech really, trading touchdowns back and forth, but in the second quarter, OU's defense really stepped up, only allowed 7 points in the second half, and their 49-27 win today over Tech.
Yeah. Let me just say, I wouldn't mind if Sam Presti managed my life decisions for a day. Yet again, the Smooth Thunder general manager robbed another team during the trade deadline. Presti turned campaign Joffrey Laverne and fan favorite Anthony Morrow into Boulder power forward Taj Gibson and a guy whose nickname is Dougie McBuckets. The Thunder cured a few areas of need and gave up virtually nothing in the long run. Hey, Dougie McBuckets, you know what they say. Shoot or shoot. Let it fly, big fella.
September 11th, 2016. Oklahoma wins the Gopher Invitational for the second straight year behind Grant Hirschman's individual medalist honors. The previous week, head coach Ryan Hibble and his wife Becca lost a baby boy at 18 weeks of pregnancy. Coach Hibble was not with the team, but they wore ribbons on their hats with the initials TJH on them, in honor of Tucker Jackson Hibble. Fast forward 8 months later, Oklahoma is 1 win away from a national championship. The defending champion Oregon Ducks is the only thing standing between OU's second national championship.
And honestly, I think that they had confidence knowing that they were about to go beat Oregon. And, and secretly, I felt a little bit of the same emotions, thinking that, these guys are getting ready to go do this.
Hibble sends out Blaine Hale and Max McGreevy first, and the two take care of their matches with ease. Riley Reinertson's comeback falls short as Wyndham Clark edges him out, leaving the final points to either Hirschman or Brad Dalkey.
The whole day I was kind of just assuming it was going to come down to me, just for a mindset. I wanted to make sure I was in this match just in case it comes down to me. And I was obviously rooting for Grant and Riley to come back.
Dalkey had a shot to win it late in his match, but his opponent chipped in to extend the match. On the next hole, Dalkey drained a 3-footer to give Oklahoma its second national championship and first since 1989 when they won it at Oak Tree Country Club in Edmond.
I honestly, I don't even know if it's truly sunk in yet. You know, we see it all the time and we walk by and see the trophy, but I don't think I'll really understand how much this is going to mean to me later on in life. When I look back and remember that week and just remember my teammates.
The legacy will live on forever in Sooner history. Dalkey now has a ring to match his father's that he won under Barry Switzer in the 1970s. But it was all motivated by a bigger picture, something bigger than the game.
I wouldn't want to win it for anyone else, talking about Coach Hibble or this university.
Last year was an interesting year with my family and some of the things we went through with Becca, my wife, and you know, it's more about her. It's not about me. It's about her and my kids and my family. You know, for me, this is what I do. This is what I love to do. It does make me feel great for our guys, knowing that they were willing to do that, you know, for me. But this is all about them.
With nearly everyone back again this year, the Sooners are poised for another deep run. Already with a win under their belt, the Sooners are headed in the right direction for another postseason run. One that could include playing on their home course during regionals and at Carson Creek in Stillwater for NCAAs. Oklahoma golf doesn't appear to be going away anytime soon. Carson Williams, Sooner Sports Pad. 6 Saturdays a year, that's what Norman looks like for roughly 3.5 hours. Prior to that, the city takes advantage of the masses making their way to see one of college football's best teams. With over 85,000 people attending each home game and even more sticking around at the restaurants and tailgates on campus, Norman welcomes thousands of visitors on game days.
Obviously, the occupancy rate for a North Texas game versus an Ohio State game are going to vary wildly. Also, there's so much difference between an 11 a.m. kickoff and a 2:30 kickoff and a 7 p.m. kickoff. Then, of course, the weather factors.
According to Visit Norman, the city generates over $8 million per home game in total business sales. An average of 5,000 hotel room reservations make nearly $1 million in revenue. Norman makes over $300,000 in local taxes, and in total, nearly 7,000 jobs are supported by game day traffic. One of the biggest profit generators comes in retail at over $1.5 million per game, but food and beverage only slightly trails that, averaging just under $1.5 million. Places like 747 on Campus Corner are a hotspot to fans who flock to Norman.
You know, our average on our busiest times during those days are about $1,500 per 15 minutes, which is kind of crazy to think about.
Whether they're buying food, a t-shirt for the game, or a hotel for the night, the city has a use for all the cash inflow.
Eventually, you know, streets, schools, law enforcement. So the economic impact of a Sooner football game is going to have far-reaching impact for every citizen.
Game days in Norman have evolved drastically since they began playing in 1895, but as the program continues to excel, so does the city. Carson Williams, OU Nightly.